man, it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out. I'm looking forward to delving into your world as an entrepreneur, an author, a world traveler. Got a lot of good stuff going on. So thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Thank you.
You bet. So let's begin our journey into your life by asking you this. We're going into a new year, but we survived this pandemic and it did so many things. It was such a shapeshifter for all of us. How did you get through that time period, and how many waves of surviving that time is still a part of your world right now?
Well, I got through it by relying on the groups that I'm part of. The biggest one was my family. A lot of the other groups that I was in wasn't really able to meet in a physical sense for a period of time. But you fall back to what you have, and we had an opportunity to bond and spend time together, like we normally don't, because we were all pulled in different directions and all in different places. But we took that opportunity to kind of do that, and as things started to open up, I made it a point to really connect back in person with the groups as soon as we were, cleared to do so. And I think that really helped. I know every state had a different approach on that. And, in the state that I was in, we follow all the laws, but as soon as we could get back together, we did that.
So let's get to the heart and soul of what you do on a daily basis. It's one thing to see titles and things on paper, but let's get to the marrow of things. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids. It's career day, let's say third graders. One of the kids in the room is curious and is like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer
Sure.
them?
Well, it depends on what hat I have on. If I have on my author book promoter hat, that's one answer. I can give you that one.
Yeah.
And then if it's like my day job hat, there's a different answer there. But if I'm wearing my author hat, I would say I'm an author. I've written a book, and basically I help people to become happier. And you can take a quiz and you can get a score on your happiness. That's what I would tell a third grader. So hopefully pretty, direct, something that they can get their mind around. For my day job, I own a commercial insurance agency. So
Okay.
I basically help protect business owners from lawsuits and hurricanes and bad things.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream as a kid?
I don't know if it was in the third grade, but I know as a child I wanted to be a pilot. Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to be a pilot.
Did you ever pursue any of that?
Did not. My older brother kind of talked talked me out of it. He was like, Leighton, man, you're really good in business. Like you just kind of have this mind for business, and I think you really should explore that. So he kind of told me that probably like in middle school years, and then high school, I joined the Academy of Finance, and then I went on to be a finance major, economics minor, and I guess he was right. I mean, I definitely have a mind towards business, and it's definitely, helped out, and it's kind of, what I think I've been put here to do from a career standpoint. But I have these side projects that I work on, and they also have a big impact in my life and others, hopefully.
So take me back to where you were born and raised. What were the foundational elements and seeds that were planted into you that gave you this business acumen, this thirst for travel, to be an author? How did all of these things get cultivated and grow into who you are?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Jamaican. I was born in Jamaica.
Okay.
Left Jamaica when I was 3 months old. Family moved to New York. Um, for a lot of Jamaicans, we're very kind of entrepreneurial people. I mean, I was born in Jamaica. I think of myself as American because I was raised here, but that part of the culture definitely carried on. So with my family, there's almost no idea you can bring to the table that people are going to say you can't do that. They're all going to be like, "That's awesome. How can we help you? Like, what can we do to make that happen?" So I don't honestly think I've ever brought an idea to my family that they were like, "This is not something you should do."
Yeah.
Now, granted, I have a track record of kind of being successful in different areas. So when I bring something to the table, they pretty much accept it. But I would say it's been a cultural thing of our family encouraging and promoting entrepreneurial projects or just projects in general. Even the seeing the seven wonders of the world, that wasn't necessarily a business thing, but everyone was like, "Yeah, that's awesome. Like we think that's really cool."
So who has been kind of that hero for you, that inspiration that's fueled your career and who you are today?
Many people. I would say that foundation that my mom laid in terms of you can do anything and we're going to support you, I would say that she's definitely a person that I would point to. There's been many other people, but yeah, she definitely laid an early foundation there.
So, if you could meet one person alive on the planet right now that would benefit what you're doing in your career, that you admire in the world of business as an entrepreneur, as a sharp mind, who would you like to meet and hang out with a little bit?
Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
So, I don't know if he's a controversial figure for people or not, but I love Dave. Dave is awesome. He helped me. I went to school for finance. I have a million designations behind my name. I know a lot of theory on finance, but a lot of times that stuff doesn't really translate to normal people, even myself.
Yeah.
When after going through a divorce and trying to work out the finance piece of that and trying to get back to a good place, I didn't go to my textbooks and my degrees and stuff. Like I went and I got read Dave's book, got some of his material, and that really put me on a good footing. And then he does things now in addition to just helping individuals with their debt and finance and so on. He helps CEOs and leaders of companies grow, and he's just got a very practical, uh, meat and potatoes. Here's what you do, and it just makes sense. It resonates with me, and it clearly resonates with a lot of other people.
Was there a client or was there a moment or a period of your career where you knew this was your path? This was what you needed to do. Did you ever have any clairvoyant moment like that?
I I have, but it wasn't like in one moment. It's like a
Right.
repeating thing that happens. So, again, I own a commercial insurance agency, so we insure business owners, and when my clients call me with a claim, and I live in Florida, so we have hurricanes all the time. There are fires. People have really bad auto accidents that can be extremely tragic. And what my clients tell me, and my business coach says, Leighton, you are actually gifted in this, is I have the ability to be very calm when things are going crazy.
Yeah.
So when people call me and this may be one of the worst days of their life, I tell them, and in most of the cases, I can say, is everybody okay? Is everybody physically okay? Yeah, everybody's fine, but the building is gone. What were you going to do? We'll be fine. You're protected. We have this covered, and I kind of go into that. We're going to turn it over to the people and let that take it from here. But as long as everybody's okay, everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And my clients, they just have like a weight lifted off of their shoulder, or they get that letter from an attorney. We're being sued. Like I can't believe this is happening. Like we did everything right. How could this have happened to us? I was like, is everybody okay? Yeah, everybody's fine, but we have this thing going on. We're gonna get through it. My clients get sued every week, and they turn out okay at the end of this. We're gonna be fine. And that's like kind of a reoccurring thing that happens. I just have a way of like getting people through these difficult times and getting on the other side of it.
So you almost have this therapeutic business sense about you.
To a degree, yeah. It's when people are going through like a tumultuous time, the waves are high and crashing on them. I'm just kind of a source that they can go to, and I'm trusted with my clients because we've been through a lot together, and they kind of know how I am. I don't know if they expect to call me and tell me something that's going to be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened. What are we going to do? Like that's never my response, and I think they know that. So when they want to be reassured that everything is going to be okay, they know they have a voice and a professional that they can come to.
So, along with being an author and a business owner, how do you weave in the world traveler part? How does that work for you?
Yeah, the whole world traveling thing. I mean, all these things are intertwined, but
Sure.
after my divorce, I was at a crossroads. I was like, okay, I can take my life probably in a dark direction because I was used to having my children 100% of the time. So they occupied a lot of my time, and I channel a lot of my energy and whatnot into helping them in the different ways that I would do that. Um, so I had all this extra time, and I could sit there and think about like, man, I don't have my kids with me. I'm divorced now. I just started a business. This is about 10 years ago. Like I could do that, or I was like, I could like do something positive, channel this time into positive things and come out of it with great moments and skills and so on and so forth. So around that time, I was like, well, based off of the way I was wired, negativity. It came across my mind, but it really didn't have a home there. My mind wasn't something like that's not going to grow in my mind based off of the way it's been cultivated over the years. So I was like, well, I definitely got to go the positive route, but what am I going to do? So I was like, okay, I'm going to learn a foreign language. So I started learning Spanish, and my Spanish is actually pretty decent. I was like, what else can I do? It's like, I want to travel. My brother and I, we started traveling, and then we kind of accidentally went to Machu Picchu, which happens to be one of the seven wonders of the world, and he and I blew us away. The place is just magical on so many levels. And I'm like, man, if this is on a list of like clearly the coolest places on the planet, we have to go and see the rest of them. He was like, let's go. So we were on a track to do one a year for 7 years, and then COVID hit. So we had to postpone. So it actually took us about 9 years to do it, 9, 10 years to do it. But we got,
Wow.
and that all kind of interweaves with my business, with the book, with the travel goals and so on. It's all one big pool.
So what is your motivator every day to wake up to do this work that you do? That obviously can be heavy, as you mentioned, really helping people out, but you also have to pull, you're a marionette pulling a lot of strings, and you have to evolve as a human being. How do you balance and do all of that? What's your motivator every day to get up and to do it?
So the book, 7 questions, and you can get a happiness score. So that's kind of like a very rough cliff notes. Clearly, a lot more to it. But one of the questions is, do you believe your life has a purpose? That's question 6. And then question 7 is, on an A+ to F scale, how would you rate your progress to achieving your purpose in life? So my purpose in life is something that I felt I've known since I was a teen. And that has resonated with me to this day. And I think I'm sure I'll go for my entire life having that being something that resonates with me. And essentially, it's to be a good husband and father. And it may seem really basic to a lot of people, but for me, I mean, I that neither of those roles were modeled for me when I was growing up. So for me, it takes on a bigger meaning, and it's one of the meanings is kind of breaking the generational cycles that have occurred in my family. Although I am also divorced, like my father, I am part of my children's life, unlike my father, and I'm a positive source in their life. I am remarried now, and I'm trying to, walk out that part of my purpose as well too. So in me getting up every day and going into the office, it's like I have to first of all provide for my children and my family. I have to. My son is going off to college next year. There's a whole bunch of things that are involved with that, and I'm involved with every aspect, as is his mom. His mom and I have a great relationship, and we're doing a lot of this stuff together. Writing the book, yeah, the book. Part of the reason for the book is that I'm not going to be here forever. And I don't know when my time is going to come. Hopefully, it's not for many, many, many years. But if there comes a time when I'm not around to be in my children's life, I want them to have something that they can go to that say, these are some of the most important ideas that my dad had. And I pretty much put everything that I thought is good that a person should know that can help them in life, I put in the book. I didn't hold anything back. And I'm also very open in some of the stuff that I've gone through. So those are some of the things that help me. Everything ties back to my purpose, and that kind of directs my next step in almost everything that I do.
So if you have a dream tonight, run into a much younger version of you, an 18-year-old version, and you can give that young version of you a piece of advice based on this life you've lived, the wisdom you've accumulated, what advice would you impart on that young version of you?
I would say keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to have some tough times, but if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be okay. I wouldn't tell them anything. I wouldn't tell them buy Bitcoin or
Yeah.
don't say whatever to this person or whatever. It's like make all the mistakes you made because they're going to turn you into a person that you're going to really like.
What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Best advice I've ever gotten. There's many. The one that just jumped into my head, so it's not really kind of related to any of this stuff, but I'm a business guy, and prior to owning my business, I was a sales guy. And for people in business and sales, if you own your own company, your income is not necessarily, every month or every week what you're going to get. So one of my first jobs, I was a financial advisor with Morgan Stanley for 4 years, and one of the seasoned advisors, he came to me and he said, Leighton, a lot of the guys here, they live their life based off of their best month, their best checks that they get. They base their lifestyle on that. You should base your check on your worst months, because if you can base your life on your worst months, then you're not going to have a lot of associated stress. So this is him paraphrasing. That was the advice, but
Yeah.
the message was you're not going to have the associated stress. You're also not going to put yourself in a position where you're going to advise clients in the wrong way because it helps you, not them. You can always do the right thing for your clients if you're not worried about money. Like I'm good. I can, have a, my income's going to be fine. So that was some of the best advice that I got.
So, of everything that you've done and evolved into at this point in your life, what are you ultimately the proudest of?
It's cliche and the it's not a finished product, but where my children are at this point, I'm extremely proud of them
Yeah.
on a lot of levels. I hope that they continue in this path. I'm doing everything I can to help and support them, but yeah, that's a big source of pride for me.
So, at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you: family, friends, clients, everyone that works with you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I'm a problem solver. I'm a person who can get something done. If it needs to be done, I'll do it. And yeah, I'm just a person that people can rely on. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and I take pride in that. And I think the people in my life, they know that about me, and they respect that about me also.
So, of all these wonders of the world that you've traversed to on this planet, what was your favorite one? What was the one that really rises to the top?
Well, I'll tell you two things. One I already tipped my hat to was Machu Picchu.
Right.
It was the pinnacle. I maybe because we went into it with no expectations,
Huh?
and then we're just blown away by how amazing it was. But we saw many other ones were really, really cool, but none of them rose to the level of Machu Picchu. So that was one. And if anyone's interested in getting into that Seven Wonders of the World journey or just wants to see one, my recommendation would be Machu Picchu.
Okay.
But I have an honorable mention that's not on the list that also blew me away. We were in Italy to see the Colosseum, and then when we go to a place, we wouldn't just go to see that one thing. We would go and see as many cool things as we could around that. But Pompeii, it's not on the list. One of the coolest places I've ever been. You are walking through an ancient city, and you almost feel like you're there. You can almost see them carrying out their life because their furniture is intact, their walls and their rooms, and you're walking through, their streets are intact. It's one of the wildest things I've ever seen. Highly recommend it.
I got to concur, man. I went to Rome. I went to Italy. I had a pen pal in high school. We were friends. And I
Yeah.
went down there because my relatives, my ancestors came to Ellis Island. So I'm half Italian blood. So I finally got to the homeland. It's mind blowing, man. And what you realize when you get back to America is how young we are. We're
Oh,
infants.
yeah. Babies, babies.
I
Some of these
mean,
places,
dude,
thousands.
that's crazy. I remember a cell phone because this was in 2000 before cell phones were big. A cell phone went off when I was in the Coliseum and I was like, wait, 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 wait. I'm looking at, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this ancient floor of history that is one of the most antiquitous pieces in our collective human history book, and a cell phone's going off. It's like the two clashings
Yeah,
of time,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
That's wild. That's
It was
wild.
it was crazy. So if anyone wants to reach out, hire you, buy your new book, have questions, any of the good business, where do they go?
Yeah. So to connect with us in terms of like getting the book or taking your completely free happiness school, quiz and getting your score. There's no credit card, no email required at all. You just go to yourhappinesseq.com. So you can get your quiz there. You can also pre-order the book. Book launches on February 4th, so it's like literally right around the corner.
Yeah.
Pre-orders are greatly appreciated. So that's the way to connect with me there. And then to see, we also went on a cross-country book tour where we interviewed people and did street interviews and asked people on the street the 7 questions, gave them their score, talked about it on camera. A lot of that is been posted, and I have a lot more to post of that. You can connect with us on social media. Best place is Instagram. That's at Your Happiness EQ. So a follow there would be great.
Excellent, Leighton. This has been wonderful. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your story. Thank you for your time. Best of luck in this new year we have.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate the opportunity.